I'm Dr. Mehmet Oz, and I need you to stop everything right now because what you've been hearing about cancer prevention after 50 is dangerously incomplete. Your physician has good intentions, but there are 5 foods available at any grocery store that leading cancer research centers have been quietly studying for years, and most doctors never mention them even once. Not because they're concealing some conspiracy, but because nutritional science advances slowly, and your brief appointment doesn't allow time for what I'm sharing with you today. Here's what changed my perspective entirely. Researchers at Johns Hopkins followed over 52,000 adults aged 50 and older for nearly 2 full decades. What they discovered was remarkable. Participants who regularly consumed certain plant compounds showed a 38% lower occurrence of common cancers compared to those who avoided them. 38%. That's not statistical noise, that's not coincidence. That's a clear signal we all need to recognize immediately. Now, I want to preview something because item number 3 on today's countdown is something you probably have in your kitchen right now, but you're almost certainly preparing it wrong. There's one common cooking mistake that essentially eliminates the cancer-fighting benefit completely. We'll address that shortly, and I guarantee it will transform your cooking permanently. But first, I need something from you. Leave a comment below sharing your age and whether cancer has touched your life or someone you love. I personally read every single comment on this channel, every one. Your experience matters deeply to me. It directly influences the content I create for you. This channel exists for you, and I genuinely want to hear your story today. We're counting down from 5 to 1, ranked from powerful to absolutely extraordinary. These are 5 foods that oncology researchers are getting genuinely excited about, and all of them are sitting in your local supermarket for just a few dollars. Let's start. Coming in at number 5, and this surprises almost everyone when I mention it, we're discussing black beans. Not the flashiest superfood, not something appearing on magazine covers, but black beans have emerged from laboratory research with a quiet, persistent power that demands attention. Researchers at the University of Texas Cancer Research Institute published findings demonstrating that compounds in black beans, specifically resistant starch and polyphenols called anthocyanins, the same pigments giving beans their dark color, actively suppress colon cancer cell proliferation in laboratory models by up to 73%. Colon cancer remains one of the most common cancers affecting both men and women past 50. The mechanism here is genuinely remarkable. Think of resistant starch like a slow-burning candle. Unlike regular carbohydrates your body burns quickly and converts to sugar, resistant starch travels completely through your small intestine undigested and arrives in your colon where gut bacteria ferment it, producing what scientists call short-chain fatty acids. One of those acids, butyrate, essentially signals precancerous colon cells to self-destruct before causing damage. Your body possesses this remarkable built-in defense system, and black beans help activate it directly. Here's why this specifically matters for people over 50. As we age, something called intestinal permeability increases. Physicians sometimes call it leaky gut. What it means is your colon lining becomes less effective at containing harmful compounds. This creates a chronic, low-grade inflammatory environment where cancer cells absolutely flourish. Black beans counteract this directly. The fiber feeds beneficial bacteria, reinforcing that intestinal lining, and the anthocyanins fight inflammation at the molecular level. For preparation, dried beans you soak overnight and cook yourself release significantly more protective compounds than canned beans. Studies suggest roughly 28% more bioavailability. If you're using canned for convenience, drain and rinse them thoroughly first. Here's the synergy tip. Add a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil when cooking them. The healthy fats dramatically improve your absorption of those fat-soluble polyphenols. Half a cup 3 to 4 times weekly is the target the research points toward. That's easy to incorporate into soups, stews, salads, and side dishes. Let me tell you about Richard, a 71-year-old retired engineer from Boston who attended my seminar 3 years ago. He had a family history of colorectal cancer. His father and uncle both diagnosed in their 60s, and he was genuinely terrified. He restructured his entire diet around these principles, including black beans 4 times weekly. At his colonoscopy 16 months later, his gastroenterologist told him his colon health appeared 10 years younger than his actual age. Richard became emotional in that office. He sent me an email. I still keep it. Small changes, profound results. Now let's move to number 4. Pay very close attention here because we're discussing something studied in the context of breast, prostate, lung, and liver cancer simultaneously. We're talking about walnuts. A collaborative study between researchers at Stanford and the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center found that consuming just 2 ounces of walnuts daily, roughly a small handful, reduced expression of genes associated with breast cancer metastasis by 62% in women with elevated risk. 62% suppression of cancer spread pathways from a food you can eat while driving. The research is published, peer-reviewed, and absolutely remarkable. The reason walnuts work so powerfully, especially in aging bodies, comes down to 3 mechanisms working together. First, walnuts contain a form of omega-3 fatty acid called alpha-linolenic acid, which your body converts into the same anti-inflammatory compounds found in fish oil. Chronic inflammation, imagine a constant low-level fire burning inside your tissues, is now understood by oncologists as one of the primary environments where cancer cells flourish and spread. Walnuts help extinguish that fire. Second, they contain an antioxidant compound called ellagic acid, which research from UC Berkeley has shown can interfere with blood vessel formation that tumors require to grow and sustain themselves. Tumors essentially hijack your body's ability to build new blood vessels, a process called angiogenesis, and ellagic acid disrupts that hijacking. Third, walnuts are among the richest dietary sources of melatonin. Yes, the same compound associated with sleep, which has demonstrated direct anti-tumor activity in multiple cancer cell lines. After 60, your body's natural antioxidant production declines by roughly 35 to 40%, and mitochondrial function, the energy-producing machinery inside every cell, becomes less efficient. This means cells become more vulnerable to the oxidative damage that initiates cancer. Walnuts essentially compensate for that decline. Eat them raw, never roasted. High heat degrades the omega-3s and reduces ellagic acid content significantly. The synergy tip here is powerful. Pair your walnuts with a small piece of dark chocolate that's 70% cacao or higher. The flavonoids in dark chocolate and ellagic acid in walnuts appear to have a compounding anti-proliferative effect on cancer cells. A joint study from Yale described this combination as producing an effect greater than the sum of its parts. 2 ounces of raw walnuts daily, ideally in the afternoon when your body's antioxidant activity naturally dips. Moving now to number 3, and this preparation warning will genuinely change everything. We're talking about broccoli, but with a critical technique that most people completely miss. Broccoli has long been known to contain a compound called sulforaphane, one of the most intensively studied anti-cancer molecules in nutritional science. The National Cancer Institute has described it as having exceptional promise. Research from Tufts University found that sulforaphane can reduce risk of bladder, breast, and prostate cancers by activating a genetic pathway called NRF2. Think of NRF2 as the master switch for your body's cellular defense system. When sulforaphane flips that switch, your cells produce a surge of protective enzymes that neutralize carcinogens before they can damage your DNA. Here's the critical problem most people don't know. Sulforaphane doesn't actually exist in broccoli. What exists is a precursor called glucoraphanin and a separate enzyme called myrosinase. When these 2 compounds meet, which normally happens when you chew raw broccoli, they combine to create sulforaphane. But when you boil or steam broccoli above 140 degrees, you destroy the myrosinase enzyme entirely. The glucoraphanin just passes through your body completely unused. You've eaten the broccoli, felt virtuous, and received approximately 10% of the anti-cancer benefit you could have had. The solution is elegant and takes 30 seconds. Before cooking your broccoli, chop it and let it sit on your cutting board for exactly 40 to 45 minutes. During that time, mechanical damage from cutting activates the myrosinase and triggers sulforaphane formation before any heat ever touches it. Then you can steam or sauté as you normally would, and the sulforaphane, already formed, survives the cooking process. A study from the University of Illinois found this simple technique increased sulforaphane bioavailability by over 300%. 300% from a 45-minute wait. Tell me that's not worth it. Now here's why broccoli belongs this high on our list specifically for people over 50. One hallmark of aging is accumulation of what scientists call senescent cells. Cells that stop dividing but stubbornly refuse to die, instead secreting inflammatory molecules that damage surrounding tissues and create that cancer-friendly environment I mentioned earlier. Sulforaphane has been shown in research from the Buck Institute for Research on Aging to selectively accelerate clearance of these zombie cells from the body. It's like a targeted cleanup crew your body desperately needs more of as you age. I had a patient, Linda, 68 years old, a retired teacher from Phoenix. Linda had been dealing with elevated inflammatory markers for 4 years, watched carefully by her oncologist. She was anxious, understandably so. She made several dietary changes, prominently featuring broccoli prepared the correct way, plus several other foods we're discussing. Over 13 months, her markers stabilized and began declining. Her oncologist was cautious but genuinely surprised. Linda told me she felt like she'd finally found something she could actually control. That sense of empowerment matters enormously, and I see it repeatedly. 3 to 4 cups of broccoli weekly prepared with that 45-minute chop and wait technique. The synergy tip: add mustard seed powder to your broccoli after cooking. Mustard seeds contain their own myrosinase enzyme, and research from Cornell confirmed that adding just a small amount to cooked broccoli restored sulforaphane production almost entirely, compensating even for heat-damaged enzyme. Mustard and broccoli, one of the most science-backed pairings in anti-cancer nutrition. Before we get to the top 2, if this information is valuable to you, and I know it is, please take 2 seconds to click that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I post new evidence-based health content every week specifically for adults over 50, and subscribing is absolutely free. Your support allows me to keep creating this content, and it means more people who desperately need it will actually see it. Thank you. Now, number 2, and this one has been making serious waves in oncology journals for the past decade. I want you to think about a tiny orange powerhouse most people associate with Thanksgiving and ignore completely the rest of the year. I'm talking about pumpkin, specifically the seeds inside it, which might be the most underutilized cancer-fighting food in North America. The flesh of pumpkin is extraordinarily rich in beta-carotene and alpha-carotene, carotenoids your body converts to vitamin A, which have shown in a National Cancer Institute study of over 115,000 participants to be associated with a 31% reduction in lung cancer risk. But the seeds are where things become truly extraordinary. Pumpkin seeds contain a lignin compound called secoisolariciresinol, which the gut converts into a molecule called enterolactone, a phytoestrogen shown in research from Lund University in Sweden to dramatically reduce proliferation of hormone-sensitive cancers, including certain breast and prostate cancers. For older adults specifically, this matters for an additional reason. After 70, the immune system undergoes a process called immunosenescence, a gradual decline in surveillance capacity. Normally, your immune system patrols your body constantly, identifying and destroying rogue cells before they multiply into tumors. As that surveillance weakens, cancer gets its opening. Pumpkin seeds contain exceptionally high levels of zinc. 1 ounce delivers nearly 22% of your daily requirement. Zinc is absolutely critical for maintaining T-cell function, your immune system's frontline soldiers. Restoring zinc levels in zinc-deficient older adults has been shown to meaningfully restore immune surveillance capacity. Roast pumpkin seeds lightly at 300 degrees for about 15 minutes. Lower heat than most recipes recommend because it preserves more beneficial compounds. Add them to oatmeal, toss them on salads, or eat them as a plain snack. 1 ounce daily of the seeds, plus 2 to 3 servings of pumpkin flesh weekly if you can manage it. The synergy tip: eat them alongside a source of vitamin C, like a squeeze of lemon juice or some bell pepper. Vitamin C dramatically enhances zinc absorption in the gut, meaning more of that immune-boosting mineral actually reaches your cells. And now number 1. The food at the top of this list is not glamorous, not expensive, will not earn a single social media follower. But the research behind it is so consistent, so reproduced across so many institutions and cancer types, that I consider it the single most important thing most adults over 50 are not eating enough of. I'm talking about tomatoes, specifically cooked tomatoes and the compound lycopene. Lycopene is a carotenoid, a red pigment, and it's one of the most powerful antioxidants found in the human diet. A meta-analysis published in Cancer Epidemiology, Biomarkers and Prevention, pooling data from 19 separate studies, involving over 240,000 men, found that high lycopene intake was associated with a 29% reduction in prostate cancer risk overall. In men with highest consumption, the reduction in aggressive prostate cancer risk reached 47%. The World Health Organization has flagged lycopene-rich diets as a priority area for cancer prevention research, and the evidence extends to breast, lung, stomach, and cervical cancers as well. Here's the beautiful twist that makes tomatoes unique on this list. Cooking dramatically increases lycopene bioavailability. Unlike sulforaphane in broccoli, lycopene survives and actually multiplies in availability when tomatoes are heated. Lycopene is locked within cell walls of raw tomatoes in a form your body struggles to absorb. Heat breaks down those cell walls and transforms lycopene into a configuration your gut can take up with extraordinary efficiency. A study from Ohio State found that cooking tomatoes for 30 minutes increased lycopene absorption by 58% compared to raw tomatoes. Canned tomatoes, tomato paste, marinara sauce, sun-dried tomatoes, these are genuinely more medically potent than fresh tomatoes from a lycopene standpoint. For aging bodies specifically, lycopene performs two crucial functions beyond its well-known antioxidant activity. First, it inhibits IGF-1, a growth factor that increases in many adults as they age and actively promotes proliferation of cancer cells, essentially a biochemical signal telling cells to grow, including ones you don't want growing. Second, research from MIT found that lycopene specifically protects mitochondrial DNA, the genetic material inside your cell's energy factories, from oxidative damage at a rate more pronounced in older tissue than younger tissue. After 65, your mitochondria run less efficiently and are more vulnerable to this damage. Lycopene appears to specifically address that vulnerability. 4 to 5 servings of cooked tomato products weekly is the target supported by research. A serving is half a cup of tomato sauce or 1/4 cup of tomato paste. The synergy tip here is essential and non-negotiable. Always consume your cooked tomatoes with a healthy fat. Lycopene is fat-soluble, meaning it requires fat to be absorbed. Eating tomato sauce without olive oil is like handing out concert tickets with no venue address. The olive oil is the venue. A study from Cornell confirmed that adding healthy fat to tomato products increased lycopene absorption by nearly 400%. This is why traditional Italian cooking, olive oil, garlic, and tomatoes together, has such a compelling relationship with lower cancer rates in Mediterranean populations. Food culture and biochemistry arrived at the same answer. These 5 foods, black beans, walnuts, broccoli prepared correctly, pumpkin and its seeds, and cooked tomatoes with healthy fat, represent something extraordinary. They represent the intersection of ancient food wisdom and modern oncology. They cost almost nothing, require no prescription, have no side effects other than better health, and every single one has been studied by real researchers at real institutions whose references I've placed in the description below. I want to speak directly to you for a moment. If you're over 60 or 70, you may sometimes feel the window for meaningful health change has closed, that damage is done, genetics are set, trajectory is fixed. I want you to hear this clearly. The research says otherwise. Multiple studies confirm that dietary interventions in adults over 65 can meaningfully alter cancer biomarkers, immune function, and cellular health within weeks to months of starting. It is never, and I mean never, too late to give your body better information through better food. The goal isn't just longer life, it's more vital life, more independent life, more mornings where you wake feeling capable and strong and present for people you love. That's what this is about. That's what every piece of research on this list ultimately serves. You deserve this information. You deserved it years ago. I'm grateful every day that platforms like this allow us to have this conversation. If this video helped you today, please subscribe right now. It costs nothing and means the world to this channel and the community we're building together. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. And leave me a comment answering this. Which of these 5 foods will you add to your routine first? Has this video changed how you'll prepare any of them? I want to know. I read every comment. You're not just a viewer to me. You're the reason this work matters. I'm Dr. Mehmet Oz, and I'll see you in the next video.